We use this word freedom all the time. And it's in our movies, it's in Braveheart, it's in Amistad, it's in all these wonderful movies that talk about winning freedom. But we have lost the sense of what that word actually means. In 2016, Oxford English Dictionaries named its word of the year, and the word of the year was post-truth. Now, every single year, Oxford English Dictionaries names a word of the year. It's a word that captures the ethos and the pathos, the sort of passions and preoccupations of Western culture for that particular year. And in 2016, of course, which happened to be an election year, or the election year, as many people have come to see it, the word of the year, named in November of 2016 was post-truth. That was the word that defined thinking in 2016. Now, the word post-truth was not coined in 2016. It was coined in like 1992 or something, but it was used in 2016 2,000 times more often than the previous years combined. Now, what does post-truth mean? Something is post-truth, or someone is post-truth, when they elevate their feelings and their preferences above the facts and the truth. You are post-truth if you elevate your feelings and preferences above facts and truth. Now, understand what I'm saying here. That is not postmodernism. Postmodernism was the idea that there is no such thing as truth. That, all things are relative, your truth is your truth, my truth is my truth, and if they contradict each other, that's okay. Just keep your truth to yourself, I'll keep my truth to myself, and we'll live happily without conflict. Well, that didn't work. And it eventually became chaos, bedlam, and irrationality. I mean, think about this. You can actually argue with someone who's postmodern, who denies that truth exists, because when they say a statement like, there is no such thing as objective truth, your response back to them is simply this: is the statement that there is no objective truth objectively true? Because if it's objectively true, then the statement itself is false. And if it's not false, that it's true that there are no objective truths, well, then truth does exist. You see how it's self-defeating. So you can argue with the postmodernist, which is why postmodernism is largely dying in our world today. Post-truth has risen up from the ashes like a phoenix from postmodernism. So postmodernism said there's no such thing as truth. Post-truth says there is such a thing as truth, and it can be known, but we don't care. My preferences and my feelings matter more than the facts and the truth. Unless, of course, the facts and the truth happen to line up with my preferences, then I do care. But if they don't, I don't care. That's what a post-truth society is. It's a society that's awash in the river with no fixed points of reference. Now, the question is this: how do you offer truth to a society like that doesn't seem to value the truth, or at least puts it on the bottom rung of the shelf and elevates its preferences ahead of time? How do you offer truth there? It's a very tricky business, because what ends up happening is that you offend someone at some point in some way, even if you don't say anything. I mean, I want you to think about the way the world actually is working right now. Right now, at this very moment, if you're on the right, the left is always telling lies. If you're on the left, the right is always telling lies. If you're a centrist, if you're a moderate, so to speak, the right and the left are constantly lying to each other. We don't trust anybody anymore. We think the worst of everybody. We're engaging in what I call the Hitlerization of social commentary, where if you don't agree with me, you're Hitler or Stalin or whatever. Just pick your despot and I'll make you that person because you don't agree with me. Now notice what I said. I didn't say if you disagree with me, you're Hitler or Stalin or whatever. I said if you don't agree with me, you can't even remain neutral on a topic anymore or have a considered opinion or say, you know what, I'm going to wait for the facts to come in. You can't do that because that is considered opposition. And that's what's happened in our day. Why? Why has this happened? I think fundamentally because we've misunderstood a basic concept that is fundamental to what it means to be an American, or even in Western society, or even human. You can always tell the health of a culture by its chief virtues and how it interacts with and expresses its chief virtues. And what is the chief virtue that has been said for centuries now, a couple of centuries at least, in the West and especially in the US? The chief virtue is freedom. We use this word freedom all the time. And it's in our movies, it's in Braveheart, it's in Amistad, it's in all these wonderful movies that talk about winning freedom. But we have lost the sense of what that word actually means. You see, freedom isn't just the ability to do what you want, when you want, in whatever way you want. That's what it's come to mean. But it never was really that in the first place, and I'll get back to that in a minute. Rather, we have moved away from the concept of freedom, and now we've embraced the word autonomy. Or not even embraced the word autonomy, we've embraced the concept of autonomy. What do I mean by that? We keep using the word freedom, but we don't really mean freedom. What we mean is autonomy. The word autonomy comes from two Greek root words, autos, meaning self, and nomos, meaning law. So when you are autonomous, you are a law unto yourself. There is no one higher in authority than you or me. I as an individual am autonomous, and you as an individual are autonomous. You're a law unto yourself, and I'm a law unto myself. But do you see the problem? The problem is this: if I'm a law unto myself, and my feelings and my preferences matter more than the facts and the truth, and you're a law unto yourself, and your preferences matter more than the facts of the truth, what happens when I as a law unto myself and my preferences collide with yours, and you have just as much authority to claim that your preferences are as valid or more valid than mine? Think about that. If my religious preferences, for example, come up against your sexual preferences, or yours against mine, if truth is no longer that which determines who's right and who's wrong, what will determine who's right and who's wrong? It won't be truth, it'll be power. The one with the loudest microphones, or sadly, in some cases around the world, the one with the most guns. And isn't it ironic that in our quest for autonomy and unlimited freedom, someone ends up enslaved? Someone ends up enslaved. And all because we've abandoned truth as that which is important to us.